And then here, at the very end, he says, furthermore, I am convinced that natural selection has been the main but not exclusive means of modification. So just like where he's saying on the origin of species, not the origin of species. He's saying on the origin of species, right? Here he is saying that natural selection, this mechanism of evolution, is one means, but not the exclusive means. It's a very big one. It does a lot, but he is saying that it's not doing everything. And this is something that has been pointed out by other philosophers and scholars as well. I've noted here page 432 and 433, so why don't we jump there real quick? Oops. And here is the conclusion, right? So it's oftentimes a good thing to read the introduction and then the conclusion. So he says, in the distant future, I see open fields for far more important researches. Light will be thrown on the origin of man and his history. That's pretty much the only time he mentions human beings in the whole text. Okay, so he not only decenters us the way Galileo did when Galileo confirmed the Copernican heliocentric universe, right? So we were no longer the center of the universe. Darwin will, make us no longer the center of the earth, right? We are one species among many, and we don't even really get a mention in this text. So another blow to our ego from science. Okay. And then he ends here with a metaphor that I want to point out. So he uses this metaphor of an entangled bank, right, to show the idea of evolution and natural selection. Juxtapose this with what he talks about in chapters 3 and 4, where he will talk about the struggle for existence and natural selection, right? He will use those metaphors, right? They're going to be his main metaphors, but are those metaphors where the problem lies, especially with social Darwinistic tendencies? So here he uses this idea of an entangled bank, right? It's a much more robust sort of ambiguous sort of metaphor, right? And he says there's grandeur in this view of life with its several powers, right? So he says this is not only a useful metaphor, but it's also a wonderful way of looking at life. So keep that in mind, right? These notions, which he doesn't really follow up on.